Finding the music you love shouldn't be hard. That's why Pandora makes it easy to explore all your favorites and discover new artists and genres you'll love. Enjoy a personalized listening experience simply by selecting any song or album, and we'll make a station crafted just for you. Best of all, you can listen for free. Download Pandora on the Apple App Store or Google Play and start hearing the soundtrack to your life.
If you're frustrated with low sex drive, Vyleesi can help. Vyleesi, or bremelanotide, treats low sex drive in women with no daily medication, no alcohol restrictions, and no hormones. Vyleesi is clinically proven to increase your interest in sex. Take control of your sex life on your terms and visit Vyleesi.com to schedule a telemedicine appointment. That's VYLEESI.com. Vyleesi is a prescription medicine used to treat hypoactive sexual desire disorder, HSDD, in premenopausal women who have not had problems with low sexual desire in the past and have low sexual desire no matter the type of sexual activity, situation, or partner. The low sexual desire is troubling to them and is not due to medical, mental health, or relationship problems, or medicine or other drug use. Do not use Vyleesi if you have uncontrolled hypertension or known heart disease. The most common side effects include nausea, flushing, injection site reactions, headache, and vomiting. Consult your healthcare professional for more information and see full PI at Vyleesi.com or call 800-922-1038. Go to Vyleesi.com for a telemedicine appointment to find out if Vyleesi is right for you. That's VYLEESI.com.
Hello, friends and listeners. I'm Natalie Jean, and I, along with Amber Nelson, host the show Place Under Neith, the show that you are, in fact, currently listening to. We are on a season break at the moment, and so in the meantime, we are uploading our live streams from Twitch over to this feed. The Twitch shows are Wednesday evenings at twitch.tv/LPNTV, and then they will be uploaded to this feed a couple days later. So if you're new here, we do have much more structured shows during the seasons, but right now in between, you can listen to us spout off about current events and news stories that are happening right now. So thank you guys so much for your patience, for your patronage, and for your focus and attention while you fold your laundry. Someplace underneath.
Sleepers is interesting.
It's sort of the same lines.
I guess. I saw Good Godfather. I keep mixing them up. Hi.
Uh-oh.
Welcome to Someplace
Immediately turning people against us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Someplace Underneath. I'm Amber Nelson.
I'm Natalie Jean. Hi.
I recently saw The Godfather, not Goodfellas. I mix them up. I've never seen Goodfellas, Scarface, Sleepers, all of these. We were just chatting about it. Oops.
Sleepers is like same time period, slightly different premise, but I was the one who brought it up.
You were, because Natalie's more cultured than I. She's seen it.
I don't know if I'd call that movie cultured. It's gross. There's a lot of child touching in it.
Ooh, all right. Well, great.
It's Kevin Bacon, right? He's the villain in that.
Yep.
Is he the child toucher?
Yeah.
Kevin. That's the character, not him. I liked him in, what's that? The Lost Boys. And I often get a little
No,
bit...
he's not the last one.
I don't know. But if somebody's ever like, you've never seen Goodfellas? I'm like, have you ever seen Moonstruck? And they're always like, no. It's like, you ever seen Portrait of a Lady on Fire? No. Well, so, okay, all right. Looks like you can't see everything.
So fuck you.
Fuck you. What if I watched Scarface and got really involved in it?
And you were just like, oh, I've been waiting for, there's something been missing in my life.
Say hello to my little friend. Is that where it's from?
I think so. I know it more from the parody, Somebody Has a Skunk Butt. What is that from?
Is that Hot Shots or something?
Might be Hot Shots.
I don't know. Oh, my hair, I did a deep conditioner and I just braided it, and I've been wearing a bonnet at night, and it really helps because the nights that I don't wear a bonnet, I wake up and my hair looks like fried chicken. So it feels
very pretty.
lustrous.
It looks like you had it done.
Ooh, I didn't. $7 thing at Marshall's.
That's nice. My hair's still wet from a shower. That's how much I did my hair.
Oh, it was from Ace Ventura. What did I say?
That's it.
Say hello to my little friend.
No, the second one?
Second one.
Okay, I was going to say that I know the first Ace Ventura pretty well. Not as much the second one. I have seen the second one probably 10 to 15 times in my life, but not
so
as...
that's your Godfather, is Ace Ventura 2.
Yes, yeah. Bigger fan of the second one, just like the second Godfather. You know, I'm not. That's the second Ace Ventura is not great.
Oh, right.
But he does come out of a rhinoceros's asshole.
He does,
and there
he
is
rapes
that.
a penguin. And you're like, Ace Ventura,
He what?
he rapes a penguin.
Oh my God, you're fake news.
I'm just kidding. Somebody did just say that Sicily is outlawing Goodfellas merch.
Godfather.
I'm a ding dong. When the wind blows through my ear, I hear a whistle. Oh boy.
But I guess banning it because they said it's offensive, which I imagine it is. But I think they're probably just annoyed by people wearing it.
Probably.
Like, we're offended. Stop it.
Stop it. I guess it's like influencers moving to New York City. Like that. Is
Maybe.
anybody Sicilian in the chat?
Where are Sicilians at? Throw up a gun. All right, now you're stereotyping. Delighting Gale Place. Hope y'all are restored and refreshed. Not bad. We had a fruitful break.
Right. I went to San Juan. I just took the Amtrak because I didn't want to deal with TSA and I didn't want to rent a car. You know me, I hate driving. I went to San Juan Capistrano, which was gorgeous. It was like spaghetti Western kind of vibes. And like, it was kind of a boomer trip I took. And then I went sea kayaking. And then I went to stayed at the Margaritaville, major boomer. I read old men's astrology charts at the bar.
I think if boomers were having those kinds of trips, they wouldn't be as angry. I don't think that's a boomer trip.
Right.
If anything, maybe it's like a Gen X trip.
Maybe. I'm not Gen X. I really did enjoy it. I just went to the places where I was the most young. Everybody was in their late 80s.
And you're like, I don't know what's happening. I'm just a baby. And you say you told a CEO that he should hire people based on their charts?
Right, based on the astrology. I said, you got to look at their midheaven because that's how they work. And you got to look at their Mars sign because that's how they fight.
Yeah, so you really shook up some business out
What
there.
if, like, that's the new movement in business? I don't know. Don't blame me.
Amtrak is the shit, and so are Bonnet's Purling Proletariat. I also like a train ride. I enjoy one.
Gorgeous. If you ever get it on the Pacific coastline, the waves are crashing. I feel like in about 50 years, it's going to be run over by the ocean. Whatever. Take it now.
Whatever, what have you.
What have you. It is 1,000,000 degrees in LA right now, so we are very blessed to have this time.
We are, and it's nice and cool in here, which is different than my home right now because it's 113 degrees.
I'm starting to realize that the big issue with the boomers overall is how much they don't process their collective trauma.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So maybe they should look at their astrology chart because they got really interested. Maybe because I was like a hot girl at the bar being like, what time were you born?
I mean, probably, yes. That's probably why they were suddenly interested in it, but it might help, might make it worse. Who knows? It's a mystery. Let's try it. Let's see if it makes anything better.
Let's see. We got a doozy of a show for you today.
We do, man.
And we're going to try to make it uplifting, even though it's not.
No, it's not uplifting, but it's important to talk about some of these cases. We've covered some of them already a little bit, and there's some updates, and there's some stuff we haven't covered yet. By chance, sometimes we try to cover all genders of people who make bad choices.
Right.
Right now, this one happens to be all men. And
right. And they're not bad. I had a guy make me a pasta sauce this weekend.
Yes, you did.
He was very nice.
Yes, that's very kind and
also
thoughtful.
The boomers at the bar. They were
nice.
real
nice. And sometimes a boomer is nice.
Right.
So my mother's a very nice lady.
Yeah. We'll get that out of the way.
Let's get that out.
Shit.
Quickly, this is not really what we're covering, but did any of you guys see anything about how the Telegram founder has been arrested? If you recall, anytime, you guys, if you have that Guardian article, you want to pop it up just so you can see his face if you're watching. His name's Pavel Durov. There it is. We're using mine. Got it. His name is Pavel Durov. You guys can see all my tabs. It's just a bunch of tabs of just like horrible things. And then like some Etsy carts open. So he's the founder of Telegram. And apparently what I've gathered from the news that I've seen is that he has been wanted in multiple countries. But he kind of knew that, and that so he avoided those countries. He just never flew into them, is what I'm gathering. But as he flew into France a couple weeks ago, he was stopped, and as he's getting off his private plane, by the feds there, and he is currently awaiting, I think, trial right now. And it is basically because some countries are trying to tamp down on sites that don't do regulations on things like CSAM, because Telegram is one of the major marketplaces, we'll call it, for that. And he has been facing scrutiny from certain countries. And of course, like a lot of these guys do when their apps are doing stuff like this, his kind of stance is being like, yeah, it is really bad, but like,
I'm making money, so who cares?
He's kind of going, why are you mad at me about it? What am I saying? It's not my fault that people do that. It's just my app, and I make all the rules about it, and I control it. But like, I don't know why you guys are mad at me about it.
I could put a stop to it, but I won't, because it means I'll stop making so much money.
Which is ultimately, at the end, probably why he doesn't care, because they do make a lot of money off of that.
Right.
That not necessarily the directly the CSCM, but having the people filtering through the app, I imagine. And so, yeah, it's interesting because we've talked a lot about how those kind of people get that content to each other.
Right.
And that is one of the big ones. And so I do really think it's cool that some of the countries, whether or not it's done for the right reasons or because they're just now addressing it for some other financial reason, that they are trying to clamp down on it.
Right. Oh, and Frazzle Hag says, what's CSAM? You're not allowed to say child explicit content anymore, but it's explicit content with children because they can't consent. Obviously, they're children. So yeah, that's what it is. So he has children on his website doing sexually explicit things, and he's fine with it.
He has people exchanging those images and videos through Telegram. There's a couple that are really big. Telegram's one. There's one called Signal. There's another one that I'm blanking on right now. But there are apps that aren't as monitored and regulated, and so it's a lot easier for people to exchange this content. So CSAM is the more updated version of what we used to call Child P. For obvious reasons, I think it makes sense that we would want to change that, because when you're saying Child P, you're...
It's like condoning it?
Suggesting that like somehow, because P would suggest that it was consensual, right? And it's not. It's just, it's monstrous. It's a crime. So I think there's just been a really strong movement to get everybody to stop saying that, which I very much agree with. It is abuse material. So that's what that stands for, child sexual abuse material. So yeah, that's just an interesting little side note. I'm going to keep tabs on that and see where that takes us. Hopefully he is forced to change the app, or regulations change. France and some of the European countries have been at the forefront of trying to control child exploitation, including the family vlogger stuff that's really being addressed more in other countries right now. We have some state stuff being passed, but it's mostly regarding their pay, and not saying you can't just like film your child on the toilet for money.
No, you can't do that.
You can. You can, though.
Yay.
You can.
There's also some countries like they're labeling misogyny as a hate crime, because usually when someone viciously hates women on the internet or in real life, they usually go and shoot up a place. To be honest, that's like there's a big Venn diagram and it's one big circle. That's kind of the deal.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. How do you monitor misogyny, though?
I don't know. It was an article that I didn't read, but it was out there. Because I'm a dumb lady when my brain is...
You're not a dumb lady.
It rolls around.
Okay, so you're not dumb. There is... one of the things I wanted to talk about today is a case that I've covered a bunch, that we've talked about a bunch on the stream, which is the case of Madeline Soto. She was a child who was first reported missing for a week, and she was then found deceased. And during that process, people really kind of latched onto the videos of her mother and her mother's boyfriend because they were really bizarre. There was something that just felt really off about the videos of the mother and her boyfriend speaking.
Right. And there's no right way to be grieving. Often when someone tells me that a friend died, I'd laugh.
Right.
To be honest. But there was something about the way, especially because he was like, oh, I just factory reset my phone.
There was a lot of glaring red flags really, really quickly.
Right.
And it was, you can say like you said, you can go off of vibes and be like, that's weird, but then maybe they're just weird people. But then on top of that, a bunch of inconsistencies, a bunch of like, oh man, I just like my phone, I hit a button and all this stuff's gone.
Reset. You have to like actually do a lot of work to do that. You have to look that up.
Yeah. It also odd the same day that the child goes missing, that would happen. So of course, unfortunately, and I guess fortunately, because we have some conclusion, it's still in the process, but the boyfriend, whose name is Stephan Sterns, he was initially arrested when they found a bunch of files on his phone that he thought he had deleted, of thousands of files of CSAM off of his hard drive. And he was taken in for that, and then eventually he's facing charges of also the murder of this little girl. And it's a horrible story. I could talk about this case for literally hours, but we don't have that time. The reason I'm bringing it up is because over the course of this last few, half a year, because this happened in February to March, people have been like paying to get like for FOIA documents so that we can have access to like police interviews and just different parts of this case because people are really invested in it. And a lot of people feel really weird about her mother, myself included. I did. A lot of people were giving her the benefit of the doubt. I wasn't.
No, because the mother was in an interview saying, oh, I let her sleep in bed with my boyfriend because I get tired and anxious.
Yeah, that's something that came out really quickly in this case. Like within the first week or so, this is being revealed that her daughter would sleep in bed with her boyfriend regularly, and also with both of them as a 12-year-old. So that, of course, immediately to me is like, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? And a lot of people felt that way. And so these headlines started coming up in the last week or so, basically saying headlines like this, if you want to pull up the Yahoo site there, if you have it, that police have no plans to charge Jennifer Soto, sources say. And this is a little distressing when you first see the headline, but it is not really accurate. We're finding out now, as new things are being released, that she was facing immunity for certain things. And there's probably also some formulaic thing that police do where to get her to have information out, to help get this case solved fully. They're not charging her right now, but that doesn't mean she's not going to end up with charges.
Right, because it's the police, it's not the lawyers. They could just say this to get the good cop, bad cop, and her to say something.
Yeah. So even though these headlines have been coming out that people are feeling really discouraged about, because a lot of people are very angry that she's not currently in jail or awaiting trial as well, especially because, like you just mentioned, you want to pull up the Fox Orlando. This is something that we need to reiterate, that night that she was last seen alive, her mom sent her to sleep with the murder suspect, Stephan Sterns, before she disappeared. We know now that that's because he killed her after performing some horrible acts that he had been doing to her for years. But that she, as we find out, commonly would have them sleep in bed together. And then the question becomes, is it because she's just clueless about stuff? Is it because she's involved? Is it because she is in denial?
Right. Did he harass her? Did he abuse the mom and say, if you don't, I'll kill you?
Hey, this is Jeff Lewis from Radio Andy. Live and uncensored, catch me talking with my friends about my latest obsessions, relationship issues, and bodily ailments. With that kind of drama that seems to follow me, you never know what's going to happen.
You can listen to Jeff Lewis live at home or anywhere you are. Download the SiriusXM app for over 425 channels of ad-free music, sports, entertainment, and more. Subscribe now and get 3 months free. Offer details apply.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pros' #1 most trusted app. Finding a home is like dating. You're not just looking for a place to live, you're searching for the one. That's where Realtor.com comes in. Like any good matchmaker, they know exactly where to look. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, you could find your perfect match today. Ranch style with a pool, barn dominium with an in-law suite? Realtor.com's got 'em. Modern craftsman with a big yard and a treehouse out back? Realtor.com will have you saying, yep, that's the one. No more swiping. It's time to start finding. Download the Realtor.com app today, 'cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pros #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
So there's these kind of questions. And so this is why a lot of people get involved with wanting to hear the police interviews and all that. So
Yeah.
a lot of us have gone through them over and over and over again. But this new one that just came out with the mom, I think is really interesting. And I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit. I'm going to also show you here, if you want to pop over to my screen, I just want to give you a quick review of these people.
Oh, your PowerPoint?
Here, let me plug it back in here.
Oh, while you do this, May Himmage says, I'd be interested to see how many people who act super weird publicly after after something like that get convicted of said crime versus people who are innocent and just grieve in a different way.
Right. And you got it? Okay. Yeah, totally. And that is completely valid. That some people are just going to be, are we having issues with connection?
We're good?
Oh, yeah. We can pop it back on. Thank you. That people are just going to be kind of awkward people and might just not know how to be on camera. But then when you mix in these other really weird elements. So I just wanted to show you quickly to remind everybody, this is Stephan Sterns. He is
L'Oreal, yeah.
Yeah, he is gross, man. So he's the semi-ex-boyfriend of Jennifer Soto, although they were still kind of seeing each other, and he would still come to their house all the time, even though they had been allegedly broken up since last year. He's currently awaiting trial for the essay and murder of Jennifer's daughter, 13-year-old Madeline Soto. They are from the Orlando area. He was originally arrested due to the possession of thousands of files of CSAM, some of which he was present in. So he was creating it as well.
So he's like, he doesn't only have it, he's like in it.
He's producing it, yeah.
That's like double jail time, dude.
I do think that possibly that's why they're holding out on charging her potentially, because they might be trying to break a much bigger story as far as like
a ring.
He had money a lot and never had a job.
Is this the case where there's like a couple guys a few doors down that also got arrested for the same thing?
Well, yes, but there's so far never been a connection. But yeah, there was right after that two men who lived in like the same neighborhood. Who
so
were
I don't know
arrested.
What's scarier, that it's connected or not connected.
I know, right? I don't know.
Like, what's scarier?
I don't know, to be honest. So Stephan Sterns is around 37, 38. I don't have his birthday offhand. But so he has a vast and varied history of sexual deviance and criminal behavior from childhood, according to multiple sources, but has never been charged with any of the offenses that he has rumored to have done until now. But he has, according to a number of people that has been who have grown up around him, been around him, that he has been doing stuff, messed up stuff since he was literally a kid. He also is, interestingly enough, a guy that has a traumatic brain injury, which is what we see a lot with violent offenses.
That's
too.
something we'll look into 100 years from now, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Mental health crisis has helped.
Yeah. So this is Madeline Soto. She had just celebrated her 13th birthday. Her life was taken somewhere on or around February 26, 2024. Cause has been determined to be strangulation. It was just her 13th birthday. through digital forensics, it has now been discovered that her mother's boyfriend, Stephan, has been regularly assaulting her from the age of 8 when he had first entered her life. He was also making content of these assaults in their home. This is the mother. It's Jennifer Soto.
She has a smile on her face there, because later on she doesn't.
She has a lot of issues. They both do. I'm not going to get too into this, but they both obviously have addiction issues. They're both taking a lot of pills. I don't know if they're all prescribed, but there's a lot of weird stuff going on. This is, again, the mother of Madeline. She's in her late 30s. She's facing scrutiny for her behavior regarding her deceased daughter and the fawning over her ex-boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, that we see over and over again. So she has exhibited suspicious behavior many times, starting from the initial report where she is shown to be lying repeatedly. She also has inconsistencies in her stories. And she has also been observed attempting to protect Stephan multiple times, including by reaching out to Stephan's father to warn him to get a lawyer for Stephan after he had been arrested for CSAM of her daughter.
Oh, my God.
So after he was arrested for horribly abusing her daughter, what she did was call Stephan's dad and be like, make sure you get him a lawyer. He needs help. Which is not a good sign to me.
Oh my God. How? Like, I just don't understand.
I don't know, man.
She was in your body for 9 months, your daughter.
There's a lot of, man, I could go on. We could talk about her. I have a lot of thoughts about Jennifer.
Fuck her, man.
But
she almost gets worse jail time than him.
Well, here's the thing. I never want it to be like, oh, the mom's worse than the perpetrator. But we already have him in jail, right? He's never getting out.
No.
He's not getting out of jail. So now it's to look at the mother and go, like, how much did she participate? How much did she ignore? How much did she just literally hand her daughter over to a predator for what? Men's attention, for money? We don't know. But there is a newly released interview of Jennifer from the interview itself was from April 18th, my birthday, which is really fun.
Oh, good.
It gives a more insight into her headspace. And I wanted to just take a couple excerpts out of it. I know a lot of you have been somewhat following this, or at least heard us talk about it. And so I just really wanted to talk a little bit more about Jennifer and what process is going on with her, what she's thinking and how she's behaving. It's just really fascinating. So it doesn't help her image, I will say that much. So if you want to just pop on the first audio clip of Jennifer.
That we were broken up. And then, at that point is when he moved up to bedroom 4.
Okay. And once he moved up to bedroom 4, were there instances where Madeline would sleep alone upstairs with him?
I'm going to say
I want you to think carefully before you answer, because obviously we've gone through your phone and we've seen all the conversations that you've had with Stephan. So it's clear that that's occurring. So I'm giving you the chance to answer the question.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how many times it's happened.
Okay. Why are you allowing that to occur?
I saw Stephan as someone that I completely trusted with my life, my child's life. I thought he had cared for her as a father would. He had been in her life for more than half of it, playing the father role. I thought he cared for her the way I did.
At sleepovers, she could have told others what was happening to her 100%. There's a lot of that, I think, overlap for a lot of the things that Jennifer ends up saying in this interview. And she's sitting there with her lawyer. The lawyer is allowing her to talk to the police for an hour, and they're giving her immunity on this interview, which is not blanket immunity. It doesn't mean she can't be charged, but they're basically saying the things that you have lied about already, if you tell us the truth about those things that aren't the direct crimes, but like things that you definitely lied about to us, you don't get charged with that. in this interview.
Oh, so it's kind of like when you're a kid and an adult catches you and they're like, if you tell me, you won't get that much in trouble, but if you say no, then you're going to get really in trouble.
Yes. And you put it into that context too, it does sound to me like she is trying to get out of trouble and not. This is maybe a month and a half after her daughter's body was found in the forest, strangled, that her boyfriend had been abusing her for half of her life. And she has this sort of like affectation in this interview. Again, we can't go off of vibes, but she's like kind of being just like flippant and just a lot of, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't know why I did that, I don't know what he did, I don't know where he was.
I don't know.
And she's talking in that manner this whole time, but as you hear the police saying, why did you allow that? And she just said, I trusted him. But that also just, I'm no psychologist, but should a 12-year-old be sleeping in bed with their bio father either? Like that seems to me like that would be hard time. You have to kids need to understand boundaries and privacy and things like that.
I had a great dad. I never slept in bed with him. That's crazy. Next is Tomahawk says she was an adult. She knows what's happening in the room. There's no way she's that oblivious.
I mean, I also agree.
And they both worked at Disney?
Yeah, they did. He worked very briefly there because he couldn't hold a job down to save his life. But he worked. He worked at a ride at Epcot. And she worked she was like a vacation planner. She didn't actually work in the park. But it's Orlando, and the vast majority of people work somehow for Disney. They own the entire city. But that's gross, obviously, as somebody who is a predator to be working.
Does Disney not do background checks?
Yeah, but he didn't have any.
Because his mommy the whole time was just like, he's a good boy. So he was harming animals and stuff early on.
He was doing other weird things like keeping cum in a jar, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which isn't illegal, but I feel like you shouldn't work for Disney if you keep cum in a jar.
Yeah, and but that's unfortunately not a thing that you can put on a record. You know what I mean?
Right.
He doesn't have weird guy stuff that he does on his resume.
Right. Yeah, is there a background check for just weird stuff that's not
Unfortunately,
illegal?
no.
But just if you pee in a jar and keep it in your room, you can't work at this company.
He did, though. One of his former friends said that he had been caught filming his mother, the friend's mother, while she was in the bathroom, and they didn't do anything about it because he was a kid. But the friend's dad almost shot Stephan when they caught him. But then they just went if you get out of here, we'll never talk about this again. So he's been doing this stuff since he was literally 12, 13 years old.
How much things because it makes me think of when I was a kid and I would see something and I'd say something and I would get in trouble, but then it was resolved, right? How many times do you see something and then don't say something because you don't want to get in trouble, but then that person goes on to be a prolifically horrible person? Yeah. And this has happened. One of his old friends and roommates alleges he was caught with CSAM 15 years ago, and his mother paid off. And again, it's well, I don't want to make waves. I don't want to get in trouble, even though you didn't do the bad thing. Right. And that's alleged. That's just through hearsay or through somebody who's not been verified, but somebody who said he knew him told this story. But let's listen to the next clip. I want to try to get through it.
Did she ever have sleepovers? Have friends come over and sleep over?
Slumber parties, no.
Did she ever go and attend any?
No.
Is there any particular reason? I mean, she's a 12-year-old girl on the cusp of being 13.
Yeah, I've been very uncomfortable with sleepovers just because I know what can happen. Anything can happen in a sleepover.
Well, then you can be the host house like we kind of were. You never hosted any sleepovers for her friends?
For her friends, no.
Did she ask about it?
Yeah, she did ask.
Was it probably a source of contention or arguments?
It was, I guess what was the source of argument was her and she wanted to really sleep over her best friend's house, and I just kept saying, no, you never know what could happen. I don't know the dad, I don't know the brother, I don't know anybody there. I don't know what could happen to you, so just afraid of her getting assaulted.
And then your own boyfriend did it to your daughter. She didn't send her daughter to a sleepover because her daughter would tell everybody else what was happening.
Yeah.
That's why.
If you want to go right to the third one, there's a pattern, I would say, if you want to just play the third one.
Maddie had the opportunity to go visit her biological father in the fall out in Texas. Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember texting the biological father, hope nobody touches Maddie or tries shit or films her under the bathroom? You remember sending that text?
No. Actually, I can't actually think back to that.
Okay.
I think around the time that Maddie was going to fly out to Houston, there had been an airline person that had gone into the bathroom and placed their camera on the toilet to film. And I remember thinking, I don't want Maddie, I'm afraid of Maddie being alone on a plane because what if an attendant does that to her and says, hold on, let me fix something in the bathroom. And in reality, they're setting up a camera because this did happen to a girl.
Okay.
So I want to say it may have been concerns over that.
Okay. Now, June 16th of last year at 9:30 p.m. and 27 seconds, you texted Stephan this: Maddie's no longer sleeping with me. I can't risk it. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Man, there's so much to pull out of that. So, yes, you heard she said the police are confronting her with saying she had a text to Stephan, I can't risk her sleeping in bed with me anymore. And then she goes, I don't know. I don't remember what that means. But the other part of that, well, there's two parts, right? So you heard her talk about how she was too scared to let her be at a sleepover to get assaulted, right? And it really just something like reminded me of something that Michelle Duggar did. I don't know if you guys remember, but she was doing robocalls to fight against people being allowed to go into the bathroom that they identified with. And they were trying to stop a law being passed in their area. And she was doing robocalls saying, you can't let men into the bathrooms with little girls. You'll never know what's going to happen in there. This is all well past the point where she knew that her son had been saying her daughters. And it's almost like this projection or like this dissonance where you know it's happening, so you need to like project that to something else. It's like not happening here. No, I'm stopping it from happening, so I'm actually a good mom. Even though these things are happening in my home, if I project it over here, like, see, I care. I'm taking care of her. I'm protecting the kids. So her saying that, because I do think that she knows. And another thing why I think she knows, if you heard her just in that clip say the police confronted her with Maddie's birth father. She texted him saying, no one better touch her or film her under the bathroom doors. Well, you know what one of the things that Stephan was charged with doing in their home after he was arrested?
Filming under the bathroom doors.
Yes.
Who would ever even think about that?
Right. No, but that's not a coincidence. There's just no way. She knew. And the reason that she starts, I didn't keep it got redacted. There's a part in between that and her starting to talk about the story on the airline. It's because they confronted her with it. And she was like, I don't know why I would say that. That's weird. And they confronted her with the evidence that Stephan had been doing that. And she went, oh, I know. It's because like this guy in the airplane and the flight attendant, I was so scared that Maddie was going to. It's because she knew that Stephan was doing it.
I hate this bitch so much.
I'm saying that allegedly.
I hate this bitch so fucking much.
It's really upsetting.
Oh, she looks fucking crazy. Not that we should go by looks, but like her eyes are just like, and that, in the interview.
Well, and
she's like, and like your daughter's dead and your boyfriend did it and you know he did it.
And both in all of their interviews, both Jennifer and Stephan are constantly talking about their anxiety. They can't remember anything because they have to take pills for their anxiety, but they're taking opioids and stuff. They're taking stuff that knocks them out for 14 hours at a time. And if your anxiety means that you can't protect your kid, then Maddie had grandparents who loved her. Her bio dad wanted to spend time be with her, like would have had her, but for whatever reason that maybe we'll find out, Jennifer wanted Madeline, even though she didn't really parent her at all, and seemed in some ways to kind of resent her, in my opinion. But you want Pop? I think we have one or two more clips left, real quick.
Okay. Now, my understanding is that you had some sort of period tracker that you kept track of Madeline's period with?
I had a calendar app that I would write what days she would get her period, yeah.
And obviously, Madeline doesn't have a job, so she's not going out and buying the products that she would need if she had her period, right? You would have to do that for her? Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes.
So, do you remember her using any of those products at all in February? Because I assume you take the trash out, or does she take the trash out, or how does all this work?
I take the trash out. In February, no, I didn't notice her using any of her feminine hygiene products.
Did you have any conversations with her about that?
No, but I didn't notice until after everything.
Because it would have been due at the beginning of February, and this all happens at the end of February, so she's almost due again in March. So you never had any conversations with her about not having her period at the beginning of February?
No, she's had other periods that have been missed or super late, so I just assumed this was going to be one of those situations again.
Okay.
But no, I didn't.
No, I didn't know.
So she does answer things mostly like that, just like, I don't know. I don't remember any of that.
I don't know.
But I put that in there because there had been a lot of just wild, online speculation of something that might seem obvious, which is maybe this happened because she was pregnant. And there was no evidence of that, but people were like, that could be. But this is the first time we're hearing police bring up her missed period, because she did have a missed period in February. And so it's just fascinating that the cops were the ones who brought that up, and it wasn't just people going well, maybe she became pregnant from him and this isn't a reaction. We still obviously don't know that, but it's one step closer to considering that the police were asking about whether her mom checked that she had missed her period. And mom being like, oh, I don't know.
I don't have anxiety, but they're doing drugs together, right? If he supplied the drugs, she might have thrown her daughter at him.
I mean, it's something that's crossed my mind.
For what? To get a fucking high?
It's something that has crossed my mind personally. I don't know what other people think, but they both were taking a lot of prescription pills and taking some of Maddie's, it seems like. And that requires money. Neither of them really had jobs most of the time. And they somehow had cash. So
they got cash probably because he sold C-Scam.
I mean,
that's probably how they got the fucking cash for drugs.
That's all alleged, but it does seem like it's at least plausible, right?
Pandora makes it easy for you to find your favorite music. Discover new artists and genres by selecting any song or album, and we'll make you a personalized station for free. Download on the Apple App Store or Google Play and enjoy the soundtrack to your life.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pro's #1 most trusted app. Finding a home is like dating. You're not just looking for a place to live, you're searching for the one. That's where Realtor.com comes in. Like any good matchmaker, they know exactly where to look. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, you could find your perfect match today. Ranch style with a pool, barn dominium with an in-law suite? Realtor.com's got 'em. Modern craftsman with a big yard and a treehouse out back? Realtor.com will have you saying, yep, that's the one. No more swiping. It's time to start finding. Download the Realtor.com app today, 'cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pro's #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
Let's just do one more quick clip here. Just want the end of the. Sorry.
Okay. Now, the purpose of you telling or having Maddie sleep with Stephan upstairs is because you told me before that you needed a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
If you needed this kind of sleep previously to when Stephan wasn't there, what would happen?
You mean if Stephan wasn't there and I needed this good night's sleep?
Mm-hmm.
It depends. If I had missed my meds the way I missed them that night and I wasn't feeling, or I was feeling just how I was feeling, I'm not sure if I would have had her sleep, have her sleep with me on the other side of the bed, or if I would have sent her upstairs to the guest room. But she sleeps like a monkey. She rolls. She'll start on one end of the bed and end up on top of me by the end of the night. And she's a gymnast, I guess. But
have you ever sent her upstairs to sleep?
No, not for any of these reasons.
Have you ever sent her upstairs to sleep by herself?
Oh,
mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to need to wrap this up.
You heard that guy at the end there. That was her lawyer because she just contradicted herself within 5 seconds. So the police were just asking, what would you do if Steph, because she basically, her excuse was that she needed to sleep. Madeline insisted on sleeping with Jen all the time. I mean, partly because Jen gave her bedroom away to renters. So Madeline didn't have a bedroom. She had a cornered off section of the living room, and they had roommates. So there was a bunch of strangers living in the house, and Madeline was forced to live in the living room, and she had a little bed in the corner of the living room. And so for whatever reason, Jen says that Madeline didn't like to sleep by herself, probably because she didn't have a bedroom, and probably because she was being SA'd whenever she was alone. But so they were trying to ask her why she would send Madeline upstairs to the empty guest room that they weren't renting out, but would not give to Madeline for some reason.
It's a guest room. It's not like their bedroom.
It's an empty room. It's just she wasn't allowed to live in it. And
because their fucking drugged out friends would go crash there.
Well, there's some evidence that he was filming stuff in that room. But yeah, so they're like saying to the mom, so did Madeline ever get sent up there when you were tired? And because that night when Madeline was killed, she said, I sent them both to the other bed because I needed sleep and I was really tired. And so they're like, well, do you do that whenever Stephan's not here? And she said, I don't know. Sometimes they must send her upstairs. And then they immediately asked, do you ever send her upstairs alone? And she said, no.
Yeah.
Within 30 seconds. And then her lawyer went, we gotta stop. You
can also hear how tired the police and the lawyers are, because it seems like probably a long time of confessions of the worst thing you've ever heard. And to hear like grizzled cops just they sound frustrated and tired, to be honest. And for them to be frustrated and tired means this case is fucking crazy.
Yeah. And side Nero, 13-year-old girls in a bedroom, is that alone neglect? And I would say I don't think it is technically a crime. And I think I've seen a lot of single parents talk about how they literally slept on a couch so their kid could have a bedroom when times were hard.
Yeah.
That like you go through financial hard times, right? And sometimes there isn't a way that it's not your ideal situation for your kid. But the issue to me, in my mind, with Jennifer is that at no point did it ever seem as though her care, it was always about Jennifer and her problems and her issues and all of the things she needed. And she really, that kid seemed like a hindrance to her. Or maybe she resented her. I don't know.
Give it to the dad then.
Give her. Oh, right. Something. Or, just something like a 12, 13-year-old girl shouldn't be living in a living room. No. If there, of course there are extenuating circumstances, but this was, to me, negligence in the sense that they had another bedroom, but they were like considering, quote unquote, renting it out. However, I think Stephan was just using it whenever he wanted to. And so they had an empty bedroom. that she could not sleep in unless she was with the man.
Fucking gross. My family, my mom and dad and I, we, went through some very hard times, did not have a lot of money. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. Mm-hmm. What they did is I got the bedroom and then my parents slept in the living room.
Look at that. See, I didn't even know that happened to you. That's
so and I think they were just like, she can't just be sleeping in the living room. Like, I think I was like 12.
Yeah, that age, kid growing up.
Like, and it was like the bedroom, not my bedroom, and then the living room, and then the stairs. So I couldn't just like have a guest over or leave or whatever, because they wanted to be like, no, the 12-year-old girl should sleep in a place.
Yeah.
And no, my dad never wanted to sleep with me. And like, yeah, they would knock and open the door because they would be like, what are you doing? But it was, right. I don't know. They made sure I was dressed. Like, I don't understand what the fucking problem is. And I know we're just getting back on break and I'm so fucking mad.
Yeah, we're back, baby. Czar626, you're on a date right now. Get out of it. Thank you so much for showing up, but I really appreciate it. But don't do this to your date. Don't do this.
Don't do it. Thank
you for being here, though.
Thank you. We do have Tears of a Clown.
No, we have No Dogs in Space coming up in 10 minutes.
Right after this in 10 minutes. I think they do have to set up for it.
Yeah, I want to just briefly before we end, also McDidgin, thank you so much for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs to LPN TV's community. Really, really appreciate that. This is a story that I will absolutely 100% be coming back to because we're not going to have enough time to go too deep. And this is something that a lot of people have reached out to us on, and it is wild. It's just another story that you just can't believe is happening. I don't know if any of you have followed the Sandra Birchmore case, but it's now finally like cresting a little bit. But it was something that was really an atrocity for a couple years, that there was just no justice for this girl. You want to kick over to mine? So I just want to show you quickly. This is a girl named Sandra Birchmore. She was 23 when she passed, but when she was growing up, she had lost a lot of her family. Her stepfather who raised her died. Her mother died, like all of these people. So she was considered, potentially at risk as a kid. This is Massachusetts in the 2010s. And so like any family who's trying to make sure their kid is, doing right and on the up and up, they are like, we'll put her in some programs. We'll put her in some social programs and make sure she's like got people around her. So she joined the local Police Explorers youth program in 2010 at the age of 13 years old. She again was 23 years old when she was found deceased in 2021. Her death was deemed a suicide by the Massachusetts Chief Medical Examiner, Dr. Mindy J. Hall, despite there being solid evidence to the contrary. And I have to remember not to say the S word. It gets flagged a lot. But so she was deemed having self-harm ended by this person named Dr. Mindy J. Hall. There was a lot of evidence to say, though, that she had significant signs of strangulation, although she was found hanging in a closet in her apartment. This is a man, I guess you have to call him that because biologically, I guess he's kind of a man. He's more like a walking pile of shit, in my opinion, but his name is Matthew Farwell. So 3.5 years after Sandra's quote unquote, Farwell is arrested and is currently awaiting trial. According to the Department of Justice, police officer Matthew Farwell allegedly killed Birchmore to prevent her from disclosing information about his long-standing sexual exploitation of her while he was on duty, beginning when she was a minor. This photo that you're looking at, if you're watching, is a photo of his third child having just been born. That's a new baby there. And this was occurring. So this photo and this time period, his wife was giving birth to their third child. He left the labor and killed this girl and went back and had the baby with his wife. He began grooming Sandra in the Explorers program. This is a screenshot of him entering her apartment building that night. He left an array of types of different kinds of digital evidence behind because he is a fucking moron. He also did stuff like Google, do my texts go away if I delete them?
Fuck you, man. What a fucking...
Yeah.
All right.
They do not, by the way. They do not go away. If you do a crime, they can find the evidence.
Right.
You can't just erase it. So we're going to go much deeper into this. This is a really wild story, but essentially this guy, and not just him, there are other police officers involved, managed to get this essentially erased from this murder erased for several years, that he very much did. And there was a lot of evidence that he did, because she was in fact pregnant with his baby after he had been grooming her and essaying her for like 8 years. So I want to talk about this case a lot more. If you guys want to do some looking into it, it's a really unfortunate, tragic case, but now finally it's now become a federal case, and they are going to face justice, but this guy is currently awaiting trial. However, there are 3 other men in the police force who hopefully will also be facing charges for being a part of what this guy was doing. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And piece of shits all around, except for the people that work at LPN.
Yes.
Except for us.
No,
We
except
got
for
some
us.
Quality content coming up in about 6 minutes.
Yeah. So thank you guys for coming back into these heinous stories.
Right.
But we it's good we talk about them. We want to, think about Madeline and Sandra, and think about the lives that they should have lived, and that they didn't deserve what they got, and they deserve to have justice,
Absolutely. We'll thank you for the subs, and then do we have time to play the nice video at the end?
Yeah, we got time.
We'll get out of here, yeah.
Godbotherer cheered 100 bits. Mayhem are just subscribed to tier 1. Delighting Gale Plays subscribed to tier 1. McGinn is gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Czar 626 is gifting 5 tier 1 subs. And then have a good time on your date.
Czar 626.
Don't bring any of this up, hopefully.
Or show us.
At least wait till like the 4th date, maybe. I don't know. Okay, you have anything?
Nothing.
All right, let's just play this vid.
Sure, let's lighten the mood.
My favorite things this time of year is when states have students design the I voted stickers. Michigan did this, asked students of all grades to submit their designs. You see some of the finalists there on your screen. They all have something to do with the state of Michigan.
Oh, I like that.
Two of my favorites I want to put up. I love the cat one. It's good. Yeah. Not my favorite, but close. Gabby Warner with the very minimalist I voted, 1 felt tip pen, took about 1 second to write that. And then in contrast to that, another winner here, they got 22,000 or 20,000 votes.
I love this
Jane,
one.
age 12 from Grosse Point. That is a werewolf.
I voted!
In front of an American flag. Ripping off its shirt, wearing a pair of low-rise army cargo pants.
Creative.
So
Honestly,
reached by the New York Times and asked
should be
about
doing
this
this more on the
design.
stickers.
Jane said,
I feel like it
didn't
would
wanna do
actually
something
draw
that you
people.
usually think of when you think of Michigan. I was like, why not a wolf pulling off his shirt?
Yes.
It got 2,000 more votes than the closest competition.
Oh, I missed this kid's name because I was talking. What was the kid's name? Shout out to that kid.
Shout out to that kid. Let's all go vote in these upcoming elections.
And then rip our shirts off.
I voted!
Please.
Vote. We love you guys. We'll be back some more. Welcome back. Whee!
This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.
Pandora makes it easy for you to find your favorite music. Discover new artists and genres by selecting any song or album, and we'll make you a personalized station for free. Download on the Apple App Store or Google Play and enjoy the soundtrack to your life.
Hey everybody, Conan O'Brien here with an ad about my podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I've had so many fantastic conversations with people I truly admire, people like Michelle Obama, Bruce Springsteen, Maya Rudolph, Tom Hanks. New episodes are out every Monday, and we have a really good time, so subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts.